In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put together your green screen project in iMovie. I already have all of my background images and videos in my folder to use, and everyone should also have green screen footage. I'm going to be using a green screen video that I downloaded offline for free, and so the video is not going to necessarily act with the backgrounds as yours will, but it serves the purpose for this demonstration. What you're going to do is after you have all of your media for the project, you're going to open up iMovie. If you don't see iMovie in the dock, you can do Launchpad to find it, or you can search it using the magnifying glass. I have iMovie already open. It will open up whatever the last project was um, that was being created. So if you need to start a new project, you go to Projects. If this comes up, just leave it. Just press OK. That whoever didn't name it can name it later on. And you can do Create New Movie. So this is where I'm going to create my movie. If you see images and videos up there, those are things that I've already imported to iMovie. If you don't want to see them, just click up here to my movie, whatever number it is. And let me start by dragging my backgrounds in. Oops, that one went over the other one, so I'm just going to drag and put it here. I'll get the last one. Now, some of these are very long. This one's 10 seconds, this one's 14. So what I'm going to do is click and drag to make each one about 5 seconds to start. And if yours ends up needing to be a little shorter or a little longer, you can change that. So I clicked and dragged till I saw 5 seconds here. Another way to do it is to click once, go up to the eye, and then press 5, return on the keyboard. So I'm using the keyboard. 5, return. I'm going to do the last one that way as well. There we go. So they're each 5 seconds. The next step, click and drag in your green screen video so it goes over your backgrounds. Now everyone's green screen video is going to be a little bit different. In class, I started the recording, we were fixing the frame, so you're probably going to have a part in the front that you need to remove. To do that, you're going to take this line, okay, you're going to bring it to where you want to chop, so say I want it to start here. Once you have that there, click once and right click. So on the right side of the mouse, you're going to click and do split clip. Okay, now you can see these are two different clips. And the part that I want to remove, I can click and press delete on the keyboard, and now it's gone. If I need to bring this to the beginning, I can now click and drag. Okay, depending on the order that you were acting, you can readjust the backgrounds if you need to by clicking and dragging. And what I would do is go through your whole video, and anywhere you need to remove, you're going to click. So say I need to remove here. Click, right click, split clip, and then say I need to remove this much. Click, right click, split clip, and here's the part I want to remove, delete. So just go through the whole thing and remove any parts that you need to remove. And then maybe this is the part that I want for the monkeys, so I'm going to shorten that so that the monkeys end there. And then I can bring that to this background if that's where it's going to start. And that would be your first step, I would say, is to go through, get rid of all those spaces, and line up the beginning with each spot. Every background, I would have a new start to the clip. So I'm going to split the clip here as well. Okay. Now, let me actually say I wanted this a little shorter. We'll make this one shorter, and then we would split the clip. Okay, so duration and removing parts that you don't need. Okay, so hopefully you've done that already. If you haven't, pause this, do that in your project, and then start watching again. The next thing I want to do is show you how to add the green screen. So we can click on here, and then you're going to see this icon and choose green screen, blue screen. Okay, and you can see how that gives you the effect. Okay, so I did that on all of these. Now with our green screen, you might see a tiny bit in a few areas of the green screen. It might be very light. We just do not have the same type of professional lighting as was done in this stock video image that I got from online. So if that happens, there's two things you can do to kind of fix it up a little bit. The first thing is if we click here and go back into this selection, this menu, we can use these little circles to remove parts of the video. So see how it's removing part of the video? So any of the background, if there's background over here, let's take that out by moving this, okay? Make sure it doesn't go up where you're seeing part of the body disappear. The other thing you have to check is, like, she's moving her hand, so you see how it gets cut off there during the clip? That means I'm going to have to bring this out a little further, okay? And because these clips are split, I can edit each one of those differently. The other thing you can do to edit is change the softness. So changing the softness might help take out any of the little bit of the screen background. I find that the eraser, you could try that, but I find it just kind of sometimes takes too much out of the image that you need. So if you try that and you don't like it, you can do a Command Z on the keyboard or undo so that it just goes back a step. But that's how you would work to clean up the background as best as you can. So try that out if you haven't already. The next step is to maybe look at some of the color effects of our subject. So to make this more believable, she's underwater. Let's look at some of the things we can do to the video. So one thing we can do is with this menu, there's the clip filter. And you can see there's several effects. So if I was like going back in time and history type background, I can maybe put something like that on there. But I think what's going to work better is these color effects. So this effect makes it warmer or cooler, and with the underwater background, I think I'm going to bring that all the way down so it's a little cooler. It seems more like she's actually in that environment. This intensifies the colors or desaturates it, which if you brought it all the way down here, it's like a black and white image. And then all of these you can move around a little bit. It deals with highlights, shadows, brightness. So like for this one, for example, this is a very dark space. So maybe I could play around with this and see if I can make her look like she's in the dark a little bit more, and just, you know, try out each one little by little to see how it works. I think I'm going to leave that one like that. And then I would have to clip this down because she's disappearing. That's a little short, so I'll bring that down to the end. This one, maybe I'll make it a little bit less saturated, a little cooler color because of the environment. And then this one, to make it look like she's actually there, we'll make it maybe a little warmer because that's a very warm color environment there. So let's test this out a little bit. And the cuts are fine. You don't have to add transitions. I noticed she disappeared a little bit there, so look for that and extend if you need to. You don't want that to happen. One other way we can edit the video clip is you can see she's in the middle for everything. If you needed to put yourself over to one side or the other so that you could see something more central in your background, you can use the cropping tool. Okay, and there's only so much you can do with this, so just do the best you can. But if you go to crop to fill, you can bring this down a little bit, and by making it smaller, it gives us room to move this over. So now she's over more to the side, and I can bring it higher or lower. I can even bring this. So she is going to be a little bit more zoomed in, but it does give you that space right there. We're not using super advanced software for this, so we are a little bit limited in terms of all the editing we can do, but that is one way to move her more to the side. So you can see she's very centered here and then off to the side over here. Okay, so do the best you can in terms of putting the person in the video where you want in the frame. So try that now if you need to do any of that in your video. The next thing, your video will need titles, so you can click and drag your titles to the beginning. Make sure the title goes along with what you're going to see. It connects somehow. I'll just put this title in for now. And then somewhere in the project, I would like you to put your name. So I'm going to just put credits in the back here. Okay, and I'll set that. The last thing we need is music. So let's look at audio. Remember, iMovie gives you some music that you can use. So I'm on sound effects, and then there's folders. There's only minimal music, so we are going to go over other ways we can download music from online. We'll go over that in class. But you are welcome to use any of this music. Say I want that song. I can click and drag it down. And right now it's starting at the beginning of the video. If I want it to start at the beginning of the title, I can put it there. And I actually would have to edit that title because it didn't seem like it's set. If you have extra at the end, you're going to want to click and drag that. And if you want to fade it, so let's see where it ends. See how that kind of cuts off abruptly? If you bring your mouse up to the little circle, you can click and drag, and you can see how it fades out. So that's a good option for the end. There are sound effects as well. So say I want to do chimpanzee for the monkey part. I can layer it. So I can bring this down underneath the monkey spot. If the monkeys needed to be louder, say you couldn't hear it, this music, you can actually hear it pretty well, but say it was a little too loud, this line, if I put my mouse over it and then click and pull it up, that brings the volume up, and if I put it down, it brings it down. So let's listen to that. So you can see how it brought the sound effect up in volume so I could hear it better. With that in mind, we created these clips all in class, so there's going to be a lot of background noise that we need to remove. So same thing, we're going to look for that line and click and drag it all the way down so the volume from that video clip is removed. Okay, and that will give us the sound that we want. Okay, so that's about it in terms of what I need to show you to create your green screen video. Once you're done, you will export it. So right here, you can go to File, name it. So put your name in it, and green screen is a good way to describe what it is. I would do 720 or 1080 if it gives you that opportunity to select it, and then next. Find your folder in here. If you don't see your folder, you can choose desktop, or you can choose desktop over here and then find your folder to save it into. I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to export, but remember when it's exporting, wait for that little circle that pops up here to fill all the way up. Wait for a little picture to show up as the icon, and that way you'll know that it's finished. Once you're finished, submit it to the server. If you have any questions as you go along, then don't hesitate to ask.